going on, everybody? Happy Sunday. We are back with another live. And today we're going to be talking about, will Netflix restore the Snyderverse? Now, you might be asking yourselves, hey, CS, what's up? And why do you have that picture of a Snyderverse and, Matt Damon, the rift with Ben Affleck? What does that have to do with anything? Well, my friends, I want to explain to you something because it's very important. And at the same time, I think it's a very crucial in the sense of the actor, because right now we know that on Netflix they just released what is it, the rip, and I just saw it this morning, and it was actually good. I actually liked it. It was pretty solid. It was actually enjoyable, and it was fun. I'm not gonna lie, it was very entertaining, and that was the main thing that I'm focused on. I don't like when they put agendas or messages in movies, and that's what I got with this movie. And if you haven't seen it, I suggest you check it out, especially if you like both of these actors. They give their best, and I'm gonna be honest with you, it was good. It was actually good. I went in there like with an open mind, if you want to say. I did not expect anything from it. I was like, let me just check it out, let me see it, and it did not disappoint. It was very good. I'm going to rewatch it again just because it's pretty good. It starts off good, and the movie's almost 2 hours long, and it's very, very entertaining. That's all that matters. It's you could tell that they had like a limited budget on it. But it worked. It worked. I like that. It wasn't too much, it wasn't too low. It was just right for the amount of time that we got, and like the casting and everything that came out with this movie. It was pretty good. All right, so now let's get to the main question you might be asking yourselves. What does this have to do with the Snyderverse? And why are you comparing both of them? Well, very simple. I want to see the fact, because we know that apparently this whole sale and everything that's happening in the moment, Netflix is in the middle of it, and they're the ones that are supposed to acquire it. I mean, we don't know yet, and there's going to be a lot of things that are going to be coming out from this is not going to just be done and over within a few days. No, this is going to take some time. This has to still go through the government and all that stuff. So it is what it is. But I don't want to focus on that. What I really want to focus is on actions, because actions speak louder than words. I'm a person that I like actions, and when it comes to the entertainment side and stuff like that, I think that it's just, look. Let's be real. When it comes to, what do you call this? Um, how these studios like to portray and put what they want to do. It's interesting how their actions speak, because look, let's be real. The rip, it's a good movie. It should have had a theatrical release. If Netflix is all about now, they want to extend the window to 45 days, this would have been a perfect time to capitalize on it. I don't see no excuse. Before this movie even came out, I'm sure this was probably in the making over a year ago, before they even thought about buying WB. So they should have said, you know what? We're gonna have Ben Affleck, we're gonna have Matt Damon. Let's do something at least for a limited run, theatrically, and they would have won points. I would have been like, okay, cool, I'm on board. They're actually pushing the whole theatrical stuff, and it would have worked for them and stuff a little bit more. But I agree with you, James. I do have my doubts with Netflix, and I do want to talk about that. There is a lot of doubts with me and Netflix. And I, like I've told you, I don't oppose the sale. I'm not against it. I'm against Netflix model that they just want to focus on streaming. And this is a perfect example right here. Because if they knew, Netflix knew that they were going to be working with Ben Affleck, they know that a lot of fans want to see him in the theaters. And this would have this would have driven up their sales for tickets, if they really want to go with the, oh well, we're gonna honor theatrical releases and stuff, right? Oh, so you're gonna tell me until you buy WB, then you're gonna take action? No, it starts now. Now is when you're supposed to do it, before you even acquire it, because now you're growing and you're building trust with the customer. So if you can't come through right now with your own IP, which is the Rip, and you have Ben Affleck, he did an amazing job. The same with Matt Damon. Both of them were wow. Performance was amazing. They also had Sasha Kaye on this movie. Wow, what a performance. She actually played her role. She had like a small role, but she's still one of the like the leads and stuff like that. She's more like a lead side character, if you want to say. She did great. I really liked her on this movie. She was really, really good. And I was surprised. I was like, is that Sasha Kai when I saw her? I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like what I saw was like Supergirl, Batman. And I know in the early stages, I think they were talking about that Matt Damon wanted to be Robin, at the beginning of Batman versus Superman years ago. So I was like, damn, it kind of felt like that. And I was like, okay, cool, like it is what it is, this movie. But it was good. The movie was good, very entertaining. If you haven't seen it, you have to check it out, honestly. Very, very good movie. And but this movie really it should have released in the theaters and then on Netflix. Netflix should have said, hey, we're gonna do you know what, let's do 2 weeks. Let's put it in theaters for 2 weeks and let's see what we get from it. Just to test the waters. That's why I say I'm kind of sketchy and iffy when it comes, to Netflix and this whole thing about it. But we're gonna see. We're gonna see. Actions are gonna speak, and we will see what's gonna come from it and stuff like that. And then the dude also, I can't remember. I'm not sure if that's I don't know what's his name, but the dude that's gonna be in Lanterns, he's in this movie also. So I was like, okay, so we got a Lantern character. So I was like, it's pretty good. Like I looked at it from that point of view. I was like, not bad, very well done. Very well done. I like what they did with it, and I see potential. I see potential and stuff like that, and let's see what comes from it. And the reason why I'm using this as an example for today is plain and simple, because if they're able to bring in Sasha Kaya, she's from the DCEU. If they're able to have Ben Affleck, DCEU. See what I'm saying? So it's like, I know they have the money and they can afford these actors, right? We know that Henry Cavill was there before with The Witcher, so that's not a problem. Also, we know that Gal Gadot has worked also with Netflix, because remember, with The Rock and Ryan Reynolds, I mean, if you want to look at it, that to me is kind of like Wonder Woman, Black Adam, and Green Lantern. See what I'm saying? So it's like those deals are already there. So that's cool when it comes to that with the actors and Netflix and stuff like that. Now, the question is, once the Snyderverse gets restored, we know it's going to come back, right? We don't know how and where. None of us, okay? I'm just speculating. I'm just what if scenario, right? What if Netflix does acquire them? The big question comes into play. Will Netflix restore the Snyderverse? Now, some of you are going to be like, yeah, you're cheering them on. It's a done deal. It's 100% good to go. I don't stand on that side yet. Keyword is yet. You know why? Because it still has to go through the process with the government and everything that has to come from it. All right. Now, the question is, if they do get approved, right, by whatever reason, are they going to restore the Snyderverse? What's the plans of Netflix moving forward? We know that Zack Snyder has been very, very active on Instagram, and we saw he just posted this morning today pictures of Jason Momoa, and even Jason Momoa reposted it with him saying, like the 10-year challenge, I guess, or like something like that. He was like, oh, he has to get back in shape. And we know that he's going to be playing Lobo in the DCU. So I look at it as, you know what? Okay, this is good marketing, but at the same time, I'm gonna be honest with you. We don't really need Aquaman moving forward, because let's be real. Some fans forget the following. Darkseid takes out Aquaman in the Snyder Cut. He just does. All right. Remember, things end and are pending with the Nightmare timeline. All right. That's where things left off. You got Joker, Batman, Superman, Cyborg. You have Mera. Remember, Mera replaces Jason Momoa's Aquaman. All right. So Jason Momoa's Aquaman is done. He's over. That's why Mera, you have to keep you have to pay attention to this. Mera is trying to get revenge for what Darkseid did to Arthur. We have to remember that, my friends. Some people tend to forget that. So moving forward, I don't think Aquaman is actually necessary unless it's flashbacks and stuff like that. So that's a different story. Okay. I just want to point that out. What I do want to see and really talk about this is Netflix has the money. That's not a problem. Do they have the right people on board that are willing to restore Snyderverse? Are they willing to spend the money? Are they willing to give fan and customer service in the side and in the sense of, hey, we know there's a huge demand and there's, a lot of fans that want the Snyderverse to get restored. We know that Zack Snyder has expressed in the past. This is not no new news. This is old news, my friends. There's a lot of old news that keeps on resurfacing, you know, but it's good because people are still talking. And we know that Zack Snyder has said in the past, and this is way before, you know, the sale and all that stuff, that he even said it. He's like, if Netflix were to have the rights to his DC characters, meaning his version and vision, then yeah, he would love to come back and continue. We also know that Zack Snyder and Ben Affleck and Ray Fisher and Ray Porter, all of these actors and actresses, you know, they have not said that they've moved on. No, they haven't. They've all said that they're willing to come back. Ben Affleck came and did a solid for Zack when they shot that Nightmare Timeline. That was done for free. So if you didn't know that, that's what he did. You know, he did it because, you know, he has a appreciation for Zack and stuff like that. So that's why we got that Nightmare Timeline, and that was shot like last minute and stuff. We saw Joe come back as Deathstroke, and we finally see him with the mohawk and stuff like that. So when we look at it overall, everybody's ready. Everybody's ready, and even Gal Gadot. Think about it. She posted and uploaded to her social media on Instagram, right? When? Let's look at this most recent one. All right. After all these years, Gal Gadot has been silent. She's been quiet about the DCEU, especially with Wonder Woman. The last time we saw her with Wonder Woman activity was probably when it came out during the pandemic. That was what, like 2020, 2021, something like that. Now, a few years later, here we are. So what happens? Halloween 2025, Gal Gadot posts a picture, you know, thanking and saying, you know, that you know, she's like an inspiration for many people during Halloween or whatever as Wonder Woman, and she put that picture, you know, from Wonder Woman 84. It doesn't matter if it's Wonder Woman 84. It's still Gal Gadot. She's Wonder Woman DCEU. Let's leave it at that. No arguing. Okay. And then yesterday, or I think the day before, I know it was within the past 3 days at the time of this recording, what did Gal posted? She posted this whole thing of 2026 feels like 2016, 10 years ago. What is this telling you about? With and when they were on the panel for Batman versus Superman. Again, she's pointing and she's also focusing on Zack Snyder, and she's also focusing on the cast, and she's recognizing the DCEU and that she's still Wonder Woman. That to me shows that somebody hasn't moved on. That to me shows, hey fans, wake up. This is your wake up call. You remember when we were fighting for the Snyder Cut, and when Ben Affleck posted "Restore the Snyderverse"? Ooh, I'm getting chills just telling you that. What is that telling you, my friends? It's telling you that the actors, the actress, everybody involved has not moved on. They're all willing to come back. They're all ready to come back. And that's what we need to be focused on. While you have all of these James Gunn cultists on the side mumbling, crying and complaining, saying that it's not going to happen, that it'll never come back, guess what? It's going to return. It's coming. It's on the way. It's happening. I'm telling you, things behind the doors are cooking. I'm telling you, things are changing for the better. Whether this sale happens or it doesn't, just know that the Snyderverse is making a comeback. If for whatever reason the sale doesn't happen to go through with none of these studios, Comcast, Paramount, Netflix, whoever the hell wants it, but they don't get to because of whatever reason, I think the ball's going to be on WB's court. And I think this is what I'm thinking, speculating that if they keep on at what they're doing, they know with James Gunn, everything is tanking. They know it. We know that before James Gunn came on board, David Zaslav, the rumor was going around that he had a backup plan. That if Superman 2025 failed, which it really did, but to them it's a success, quote unquote success, that they were going to move to plan B. And what was plan B? That they were going to have Zack Snyder as a backup plan in case things go south and didn't work out. Where are we right now? Things are deep south in the sense of they're in the middle of this sale. I've been telling you, I think David Zaslav is just using this as a marketing strategy to build up the stocks, and it's working. It's working. Because how the hell do you turn down $108 billion and say, hey, we don't want that, but we want the most? Dude, they're offering you $108 billion. Cash out now. And then he's like, oh, but the 82.7 billion with Netflix sounds like a better deal. Let's be real. Who are you BSing? not not the real consumer. Who are you lying to? Yourself? Let's be honest. All right. So what I think is going to happen in the end, this is me speculating. All right. It could be a possibility that if this sale doesn't go through for whatever reason, because we already know David Zaslav does not want to sell it to Paramount, and Paramount's willing to spend money on it. $108 billion is a lot of money. Let's say for whatever reason, the president says, hey, and the Department of Justice says, nope, Netflix cannot have it. Guess what? We're going back to square one. You know what that means? WB, the ball's on your court. All the eyes and the spotlight is back on you. What are you going to do, WB? Now let's go back in time and let's look forward into the future. You might be asking yourself, CS, you make no sense. What does this have to do with what we're talking about? Plain and simple, my friends. If we go back to 2016, Gal Gadot's posting, Zack Snyder's posting. He even shared, Jason Momoa, and Jason Momoa shared it. Once again, the wheels are in motion. There's no stopping it. You know what else was in motion? The Snyder Cut. The same patterns, my friends. This is why I'm telling you, things are definitely happening. How and where? That is the question that none of us know. That is the question that I've been telling you for a while. We do not know how and where and when it's going to make a comeback, but we know that it's going to make a return. It's going to make a massive return. And you know why? All the lines, all the patterns, everything is falling into play. Let me break it down to you very simple. All right. If we look at it, back in 2016, what happened? We got Justice League, right? Meanwhile, Marvel was making money with the Avengers and whatever they're doing, right? Good for them. Who else was making money? The Transformers IP with Michael Bay. They were making money during that time. And where was DC? They were also making money, but here's the big but. The but is that the studio kept on getting in the way. And what happened? The studio got in Zack Snyder and David Ayer's way, and they say, you know what? We're not going to continue with this. And they screwed up everything. Who else did that? Paramount with Michael Bay. They said, you know what? Yeah, we're going to want to do a soft reboot. They went with Bumblebee, Rise of the Beast, Transformers 1. It didn't work. DC said, you know what? We're going to go ahead and reboot. We're going to bring in James Gunn to do the Suicide Squad and whatever he wants to do. And then we're going to appoint him and leave him in charge of DC Studios. And we're going to launch DC Studios. It didn't work. Here we are. 10, 11, 12 years later, right? After Man of Steel. And where's WB at? Still at the bottom. Who else did another mistake and they learned from their mistake? Marvel, the mighty Marvel, right? The Avengers, Disney. Wow. Crushing it at the box office. And what did they do? You know what? We're going to start changing everything. We're going to start doing race swaps, gender swaps. We're going to start pushing agendas. And what happened? After Endgame, everything started going downhill. Look at where we are right now. Now let's fast forward. Let's do like the Flash. Let's rewind time and move forward. What did the Flash do to Joss Whedon's version of Justice League? If you don't remember, he went back, he reset it, the timeline, and he stops the events, the future events of Darkseid and everything that happens, right? Okay. The same thing we could say is happening right now. How? Very simple. Marvel has brought back the Russo brothers. They're fixing and they're cleaning house for the next Avengers IP movie. That's a huge IP. Let's be real. The Avengers is a big IP. Marvel is crushing it. Say what you want, but the old Marvel has returned. They are cleaning house. They're laying off a lot of people that do not work. And if it doesn't work, replace it and bring in new staff. That's what they're doing. They're cleaning house. Pay close attention. All right. They're bringing old actors and actresses. What is that telling you? We're going back to what was making us money. Remember the phrase, go woke, go broke. They learned the hard way. Who else is doing the same thing? Paramount with the Transformers IP. It didn't work with Bumblebee. It didn't work with Rise of the Beast. And for sure, it did not work with Transformers 1. All three of those movies are low-key agenda type woke movies. You might be asking yourselves, but CS, you don't know about that. How can you be so sure? I can point them all out. It's plain and simple. The message is clear. If I need to explain it to you, clearly you're part of the problem. And that's why this industry is doing a full cleanse right now in Hollywood. And I'm glad. You know why? Because all of that is over. This is why Paramount and Marvel are like, you know what? We've lost too much money throughout all these years. So they're going back to what was working. Let's bring in Michael Bay. Let's go back to what was working. The last movie made more money than all three of these films combined. What is that telling you? After Michael Bay, after the Russo brothers, everything at both companies, Marvel and Paramount, have been declining. It was so bad that Paramount had to do a merger with Skydance. Whoa, hold on. Let's pump the brakes. What happened? They were losing too much money. That's what happened. What has happened to DC? The same thing. They are about to be bought out by another studio, another company. What is that telling you? That they're also in the same path as these other two studios. Now, let's do say that Netflix does acquire WB and whatever that comes from it and stuff like that. Cool. Cool. The question is, are you going to restore the Snyderverse? You know that there's a huge fan demand. Are you going to give the fans, customers, and consumers worldwide what they really want? Or are you going to keep moving forward with James Gunn? That James Gunn has literally been the cause of all of this. You might be saying yourself, but how can you be so sure? James Gunn is just in charge of Superman. No, 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 my friends. He's in charge of DC Studios. What DC property after Zack Snyder has made $1 billion besides Joker in 2019? And that's way before James Gunn came on board. Nothing. Nothing with DC has made that money. It just hasn't. And it never will. Notice how everything that James Gunn puts under his, with his name attached to it, instead of it being successful, it keeps on declining. It keeps on losing money. And people are fed up with that. People are fed up. People just want good entertainment. And James Gunn has proven he is not the man for the job. He just isn't. It didn't work with Creature Commandos, Peacemaker Season 1, Season 2. 3 is already canned. What is that telling you? Man of Tomorrow is in the works. Batman Brave and the Bold has gotten so delayed. They don't even know. Everything is a mess. You have a cancellation here, then they bring it back. This one's connected. It might be connected. It might be. It's a retcon. It's a complete disaster, right? It's even worse than Marvel. Marvel's a mess, but DC's completely a mess beyond repair at this point. And when you see Zack Snyder posting up pictures, honestly, of the past, Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot, hell, he even put pictures of Ezra Miller. That is freaking amazing. Letting you know that that's still Flash. I don't care what you say. He is Flash. That's my Flash. When it comes to the DCEU, that's my Flash. I don't care. I'm not here to talk about, because of this, and I don't care. As character, Barry, the Flash, Ezra Miller nailed it. He did a good job. The Flash 2023, that movie, that's not my, just not. What he did with Zack Snyder in Zack Snyder's Justice League, especially when he reset at that time, that's exactly how we are right now. All of the pieces to the puzzle are starting to line up. And if you look at the big picture, it's all clear now. And this is why you have these James Gunn fans coming out, mumbling, crying, and complaining because they want to stop us, but they know that we will stop at nothing. I told y'all, 2026 is the year we do not compromise, period. And it's clear. Zack Snyder, he's not compromising. Zack Snyder's coming out hard. I wish Zack Snyder was listening. Maybe he is listening. Maybe he's going to listen to this later. Zack, we need you back. We straight up do. This industry needs you. DC needs you. Warner Brothers needs you. But their ego is so high. Just like James Gunn. We need Zack Snyder back. We need David Ayer back. We need Patty Jenkins back. I don't care what y'all tell me. Patty Jenkins did a fantastic job under the leadership when she was working with Zack in the first movie. Wonder Woman 84, I don't consider that. That's her thing. But her with Zack, boom, we got the success that we got. Let's not forget, James Wan did the first Aquaman. Now compare the first one with Zack Snyder and the second one without Zack Snyder. You be the judge of that. Do I need to tell you? We were on the path to success. The first DCEU movie to make $1 billion. What is that telling you? I guarantee you the Snyderverse gets restored and it comes back. Once it does, I know it's going to. First thing they need to announce, how do you announce a big, massive comeback? We know that Zach and Ben Affleck want to do the Dark Knight Returns. There you go, baby. That's it. That's $1 billion guaranteed right there. You want to lead up things to that? Re-release Man of Steel, re-release Batman versus Superman, re-release all of these movies from the Snyderverse, and I guarantee you that they will make money at the box office. They'll generate more money, and people will go out and support it again. If we bought these movies several times on DVD, Blu-ray, digital, what is that telling you? We support the campaigns. We just crowdfunded a Batmobile. We just crowdfunded a Harley Quinn with Joker, Jared Leto, and Margot Robbie's version of Suicide Squad, not James Gunn. This is with David Ayer's version of 2016. What is that telling you? People want it. Now, you imagine that DC announces the return of Zack Snyder, and Zack Snyder says, hey, we're going to kick it off, and we're going to make The Dark Knight Returns. Boom, Ben Affleck comes out like they did with Henry Cavill when they announced the Snyder Cut. That's it. It's an instant win. That's it. Your stocks are going to go up so high, you'll be like, what? You've been delaying this far too long. The time to restore Snyderverse is now. Not yesterday, not tomorrow. It's now. It's right now as we speak. Now it's your moment. Marvel is building up to the Avengers. And look at how it is right now. A year in advance, they're planning and they're getting everything completely ready for a movie that's going to come out this year. And before we see the Avengers, we're going to see Endgame. You know why? Because it's called a marketing strategy to have everybody fresh in their mind. Oh, wow, this just happened in the previous movie. And now we're going to see and touch how this all connects. That's how you do it. And that's how DC needs to do with Justice League. Justice League is the biggest IP. I can ask you right now as a fan, who the hell wants to go see James Gunn's Justice Gang? It sounds ridiculous, right? That's exactly what that is. It's a straight parody. It's a joke. It's ridiculous. What we want is DC to continue with Justice League, with Zack Snyder, all right? Let's just focus on the name alone of Justice League, all right? Just like how Marvel's focus on the Avengers, how about the Justice League? What Zack did, what he cooked, was ahead of its time. Here we are all these years still talking about Man of Steel. And which one came out on top? And you're going to have all these James Gunn cultists crying and complaining, oh, but Superman was a success. That's why we're getting another one. Oh, but where's Man of Steel 2? Joke's on you. Joke's on you. The only reason you're getting Supergirl with James Gunn and Man of Tomorrow, big if we make it that far, is because James Gunn is still in power. So, of course, while he still has power, he's going to play around in his playground and put whatever he wants and whatever's convenient for him. That's the only reason, clowns. That's the only reason. But it's not making them money. Because while the whole world is laughing, because Superman was such a domestic hit. Domestic, really? Oh, as long as we make back our budget, we're good. That's the most silliest thing I've ever heard. Making back your budget. Wow, that is terrible in business. Nobody wants to go into business and say, you know what? As long as I make back what I spent, then we're good. So where the hell's the profit? So you're not about it with the profit, but yeah, you want to make profit, right? So you're going to tell me while Zack Snyder was there, oh, DC, Russian Zack Snyder. Oh, we got to go ahead and make Batman versus Superman. Nah, hold on. Not yet. Not yet. Give it time and we'll build up to it. Nah, we got to do it now because Avengers already introduced Thor and they got Captain America and blah, 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 right? Oh, so you want to copy them back then. Okay. How has that worked out for you, WB? Look at the mess you are right now. After all these years, past 10 years, nothing is working. Let's be real. And you thought by bringing in James Gunn, that was going to be the solution? Bringing Joss Whedon, that was going to be the solution? No. It's just made it worse, right? And look at where we are right now. It's completely a mess. I don't care how many movies James Gunn puts out. He's put out The Suicide Squad. He's put out Peacemaker Season 1, Season 2, Creature Commandos, and Superman. That's 5 type of productions. Enough with the excuses. We've already let James Gunn cook. He cannot cook. The Suicide Squad was a preview of the flops to come, and they continue to tank. Let's be real. That is the fact. Everything with James Gunn is not working. If it were working, we wouldn't be in the middle of this sale. This sale would not be happening. But since the minority of fans, the James Gunn fans, think that they're winning and they're eating, nobody's supporting it. The merchandise is on clearance. It's ending up at Ross. It's ending up at Ollie's, and it still doesn't sell for $3.99. People still don't want it. What is that telling you? Nobody cares about it. Meanwhile, you clowns out there, oh, the Snyderverse doesn't make money. Oh, the Snyderverse is not successful. Really? How come we crowdfunded a toy, right? For Zack Snyder's Batmobile, right? For a quote unquote dead universe in less than a week. Explain that to me. And it surpassed the numbers. It kept on making money. How come McFarlane and DC, because DC is the one that tells, with WB, they're the ones that tell McFarlane, hey, let's put out this product. How come they told McFarlane, hey, you know what? That was a huge success. How about we do and capitalize on the Snyder fans, because they're going to eat it up also. And we did. We supported it. David Ayer's Suicide Squad with Harley Quinn and Joker. How come that got funded, huh? And then it was so successful that at the end of the campaign, McFarlane was like, you know what? We're going to extend it 3 extra days. Oh, you love that money, huh? You love that DCEU money. You love that Snyderverse money, huh? Oh, but it's a problem when we have to ask for, hey, release the Ayer cut. Hey, make a Batflick movie. Hey, give us a Man of Steel 2. Hey, give us Justice League 2 and 3. Then we have a problem, right? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. But in this situation, make it make dollars. You want money? We got the money. Give us what we want. Until then, we're going to keep our wallets fully closed and locked. Supergirl will tank worse than Superman 2025. Nobody's talking about it. And the few handful of people, that's not enough. The shield money has run out. There's no more shield money. There's no more WB money to say, hey, look, we're going to give you this amount of money so you can write a good review. And Rotten Tomatoes, nobody cares about Rotten Tomatoes anymore. People have woken up. People have realized that Rotten Tomatoes are scumbags. That's what it is. Now, it all comes down to this again. All right, let's look at this. So when you have Zack Snyder posting all these pictures and everybody's building all type of, excitement all over the internet, what is that telling you? That people are interested. People, again, want more of, what we had and stuff like that. Now, you might be asking yourself, but what does this have to do with Netflix and all that? Because in the end, like I said, if Netflix does acquire it, what are the plans? Because you literally had Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. You could have put that in theaters. Why did you have to wait now that all of a sudden everybody's talking about WB, the sale, and blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden now you want to, we're going to honor it. Oh, we're going to end up doing this and we're going to do that. How come you haven't done it before? Why? Because now you see that it's convenient. And now you're seeing that, people are talking about it. So you're trying to capitalize it. You're trying to ride the wave of fame, if you want to say. That's what's happening. Let's be real. People have already realized what the plan is. What's the actions? If the studio doesn't want to give us what we want, then we will continue to keep our wallets closed and locked, period. That's how we win against this. Nobody's talking about the DCU. Nobody's talking about Supergirl. Nobody's talking about Peacemaker. Nobody's talking about James Gunn's Superman. But you know what, everybody? Let me emphasize. You know what everybody around the world are talking about? Zack Snyder, the DCEU, Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot, Jason Momoa. Jason Momoa, for crying out loud. He's on James Gunn's DCU. And he's acknowledging that he was Aquaman. Dude, that's a wake-up call. That should be a reality check. You should have never jumped the bandwagon and literally turned your back. To me, he's a sellout. He's still a sellout. I don't care. That's where I stand at. This is telling you it's building back up to what we wanted. There's no stopping the Snyderverse. There's no stopping the return of it. People want more. And every day it keeps on growing more and more. The demand is there. Everybody wants it. Fans, customers, consumers, everybody, shareholders, stock investors. Hell, everybody wants it because they know that there's potential there. So they're like, you know what? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. We have to go back to what was working. Marvel's realized it. Marvel has finally come to their senses. Marvel's like, yo, we're bringing back the Russo brothers. Congratulations. You did the right thing. Paramount's like, we're bringing back Michael Bay and we're going to go back to what was working. Thank you. Finally. Common sense is returning and I'm glad. And that's what we need in this industry. All right. When it comes down to it, Netflix, like I said, they're all talk right now. If they were really about, hey, we really want, to do a quote unquote theatrical release, how come you're not putting it out now? How come you're not doing it with your own IPs? So you're gonna wait until you buy and acquire these IPs to finally do it? Let's be real. We see through you. We see through you. Everything is changing in this industry and it's going to continue. Exactly. Kathleen Kennedy, she's out. I'm happy for the Star Wars fans out there. Finally, Star Wars is going to go back to what Star Wars was about. With Kathleen Kennedy, it was Star Wokes. Let's be real. That's what it was. The Star Wars fans have spoken. Enough is enough. We're done. She's out. Disney finally took action and said, nope, she's out of here. That's it. Thank you. Finally. That's how you got to do it. That's what's good for business. And that's what DC needs to do. DC, in the end, needs to see, hey, what are we going to do? Are you going to restore the Snyderverse? Are you going to end up selling? What are you going to do? Netflix, the same thing. Everything, everything is falling on you. Netflix knows what's up. The question is, do they have the right people inside to actually do it? That's the part that none of us know. They could be saying a whole bunch of pretty things, but actions speak louder than words. And that's what they have to prove themselves. That's what they need to prove and say to the fans. Hey, look, this is what we want, honestly. And they have to give it to us. If they don't do that, that's where the problem comes into play and things just fall apart, you know? So, with that being said, look, I'm going to put the link so to the ones that want to join. Let me just let y'all know, if you come on, please keep it short so we can give more opportunity for more people to talk and we can all, discuss and talk. I'm gonna give y'all the chance to express yourselves, but let's also, keep it in a timely manner so more people could join so they can talk and express themselves and stuff like that. Because this is it's very interesting. It's very interesting to see how everything is changing right now. And with Zach that keeps on putting out content, I'm telling you right now, Zack Snyder's not stopping anytime soon. He's not. He's letting us know, hey, keep fighting. We're fighting back. Symbolically, we are fighting back. And he knows it. He's putting out all this material for us to keep on talking, speculate, you know, share ideas, whatever it is. And it's working. It's working. I'm telling you, things are going to change. And we have to save these movies, not just DC, just all of them. Because when the movie comes out theatrically, people want that. So that's the thing when people are watching these stuff, these type of movies and things like that. Mars, what's up? Talk to us.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Oh, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
All right, and you?
I'm all right, man. It's Sunday. I
Yeah.
was on YouTube. I seen you on live. Let me check in with the homie. Um,
Cool.
I find it really weird that I'm not gonna lie. I was a little hesitant on Netflix restoring the Snyderverse. I
Yeah,
wasn't sold on it. I thought I was assuming Paramount would be the main ones to restore the Snyderverse,
yeah,
but I could be wrong. Netflix could be doing it as well. They do have a good relationship with Zach. I just
yeah,
wasn't sure. Um, but as the weeks go by, especially with the whole 2016 thing yesterday where Zach posted the storyboards, and we all know those are old storyboards. That's not the new. If anybody wants the new updated version of Justice League 2 and 3, I would highly recommend watching Kevin Smith's video about it. He
yeah.
spoke about it years ago. And I don't want to you'll if you watch it, you'll find it, you'll see what it is. But
Okay,
with Zach posting that and My Time to Shine, I think that's her name on Twitter.
okay.
She's been posting a lot of like Zack Snyder related stuff. I do feel like there is some type of thing where I do think Zack is really coming back. I
Yeah,
don't think this is all just for shits and giggles. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah, for
that's
sure.
it.
Gotcha, gotcha. Let me just put this real quick. All right, cool. All right, let me go to the next person, and if anything, just join again if you want to say something. That way I can
Got
give
you,
a
brother.
chance to appreciate that.
You ready?
All right, LT, what's up?
What's up,
What's
bro? Can
up?
you hear me?
All right. Talk to us.
Hey, man, I just want to come on here and say, man, you you are doing a good job, bro. And
Thank you, man. Thank you.
personally, I just want to thank you, man, because honestly, I've been following the movement for a while, and it's easy to drift off and talk about the things we don't like about the case and scenario concerning James Gunn and Peter Safran. And honestly, I don't know how I know this, but I just feel like they're really aware of, the complaints, and they just don't care. You know,
Mm,
not WB so much as, I mean, like, Gunn and his regime don't care. And I
yeah,
I was listening to your thing yesterday, and you touched on some. You was like how Gunn is basically trying to go out with a bang. He knows he's not gonna be going out for being awesome, so it's like, well, I'll be infamous. I'll do something terrible, but still, nobody's gonna have their cake and eat it too. I'll just
yeah,
mess it up for everybody.
yeah,
And I guess when I heard that, it really made me think. It does scream narcissism, but how to fight back with that is like positivity, man. When I heard you talk yesterday, bro, it was the first time in a while that I could tolerate even listening to these topics, bro, because I've got emotionally wound up, man, because I grew up off this stuff, man, and it kind of hurts as a man. We don't really have a lot of things when we get grown, that remind us of our childhood, and this new age, everything is so microwave fast. And when you
hmm
get somebody like Affleck or like Cavill, man, and they fresh out the comic book, they look like they've been stripped out of the graphic novel Superman or the Dark Knight Return. Man, it hit a soft spot. And like I say, man, I'm almost 40. And
hmm
I just got in the comics in my 20s. So when I start talking about my love of this stuff, people get the man, leave it for the kids, man. Just let it go, man. I'm like, bro, that was one of the things that keep me excited about being around. And,
yeah,
after I get off work, I want to watch good movies. I want to see, and Affleck does that. Him as Batman, he only gave us a few appearances, but bro, that's one of the biggest things on my. I don't want to say a bucket list, but that's if I could see that in my lifetime, man, I would be a happy person. And
hmm
I think listening to you talk yesterday really helped me because the way you talked about it, man, your tone let me know, man, I'm not alone. It's somebody who cares. This
yeah.
dude cares.
Appreciate that.
And,
You know,
and I ain't
I,
gonna
I
hold you.
think
I'm gonna get off. I'm gonna get off, man. I got a lot more I would say or could, but I know it's other people. But man, thank you for being positive because you didn't do it in a manner that just reminded me of the same old complaints. Because complaining ain't. I don't know if that's getting it, man. But the people like you talk, I know them people. They listening. Them companies, them investors are hearing you, and you're talking with a certain level of prestige and accuracy. You're not even making it like personal. You might say here and there you don't like Gunn, what he doing, but the stuff you're saying is factual. It's like, bro, demand, consumer demand. This is not working. That's not in a way you keep doing it, bro. That's all I'm gonna say. Keep doing it. And when it's over, when we get there, I'm gonna be saying, "C was one of the people that got us in the door."
we're gonna get it. Yeah, that's why I say, and this is good. Doing these panels is good because it shows the company they're watching, they're hearing us. I guarantee you, I would not be surprised if somebody at WB or even Zach himself or probably David Ayer, I tagged them all on Twitter when I do videos about them and stuff like that. And the same thing with Paramount, like I tagged them. So I know they're watching. You know why? Because when I had put up one video, this is a while ago, and I just used the clip of Darkseid. Probably I used like maybe 4 or 5 seconds. I got a copyright strike from WB. That's not random.
Wow, 5 seconds.
Not That's not random. What is that telling you? They're aware. They're like, oh, hold on. Oh, hell no, we want to get paid. Exactly, and they're doing that to channels. Aaron has gone through it. So many people. That's why you don't see that I put footage of it because I know how WB is. That's the reason why I don't put clips and stuff like that. And they're aware. They're aware. They're listening. They're watching. I'm sure James Gunn has also seen this video. Or you imagine he's probably listening right now. He's probably like, oh, here go CS again, talking with his crap and stuff like that. Nothing against him. It's just he's not the right person to be leading the company, and it's proven by now. 5 productions under his belt. The Suicide Squad was a preview of what to come, you know, and Superman, Creature Commandos. Peacemaker season 1 and 2 is it's the numbers are there. So it is what it is at this point.
Yeah, and you shut them up, man. The way you carry yourself online, bro. You don't scream cultist. That's such a bad smear campaign effort to make us look or to tell the investors, hey man, them guys crazy. Them Snyder Bros or whatever they are, man. They cultists. They just, man. We none of us are that, man. We just passionate people that apparently I think the marketing scheme is, hey man, let's go back to let's aim for the younger audience. And it's like, but the cartoons have the younger audience already. They have
Yeah,
short attention spans. They have lesser products that you can push that don't negate R-rated stuff. Like you can do a lot of stuff for them on cartoon streaming services, but when
mhm,
you get an opportunity, a platform where you can take it beyond PG-13 or lightheartedness, why wouldn't you?
exactly.
Because there isn't many opportunities where you can do that. But
Mhm.
you're in a live action, we can go all the way. And Gunn is like, man, I want to go. Let's do the let's light it and make it fun, but we'll put a little coke in there too, or whatever. But yeah, it's like,
You know,
bro, which way is it? Are you for, adult themes? Because we'll do adult themes with drugs and orgies, but we can't have mature dialogue and live action fighting or male masculinity, and it's not male, not toxic masculinity, but actual. I think that's something else that just all around. That's been an attack on masculinity, man, and I really think
mhm.
that was the pushback. Who was it? Gun. He went after Momoa, got him. The whole Judas thing. He offered him, hey man, I'll give you your favorite role of a lifetime. Just
Yep.
leave Zack Snyder, come to me, and I'll give you all your desires. And he's like, okay, Gun. Yeah, he did it. But his next person he went to was Affleck, and Affleck he saw the writing on the wall, man. He's like, look, this is what we want to do.
Mhm.
Affleck probably him being a director, he's like, all right, what do you got, man? What plans do you got? Well,
Yeah.
man, I don't know. We'll figure it out. I want to use get Batmite in there eventually, or whatever crap he was thinking. And Ben, ben Affleck was probably like, man, I don't want anything to do with this guy whatsoever. But he had to be professional because he still could get a potential job back at WB eventually once they hire Snyder back. So he didn't
Mhm.
want to just tarnish the brand and say, man, Gunn is a goofy. I hate the guy. He's crazy. But I'm
Yeah.
sure he's tight-lipped thinking, man, why did they hire this guy? So everybody, for the sake of professionalism, is basically just keeping their mouth shut. But now you see it oozing out. Because for every clip that man Snyder posts on Instagram, and I see you responding on there too, bro. I be on there too.
Yeah.
Man, it's like, dude, you could put out 50 million James Gunn movie trailers up against one picture of Zack Snyder posting anything related to the Snyderverse.
Mhm.
Hey,
Exactly.
the numbers are there. And I'm gonna get off, man. Keep going, bro. I'm watching the show. Thank you, bro.
Got it, man. Thank you. Thank you. It really means a lot. Appreciate that.
Back.
Raheem, talk to us. What's up?
Yo, what's up, man? How are you?
All right, all right. And you?
I'm good. I'm good. Yes, I love your show. I'm a big fan, as you see. I be in your comments all the time, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Listen, bro. I just recently was on Zack Snyder's Instagram, and lo and behold, a picture of Jason Momoa as Aquaman playing the guitar. I'm like, bro, you missed a big time because
Yeah.
even though they done gave him a role of a lifetime playing Lobo, you have to remember it's not a solo Lobo movie. He's in a Supergirl movie with
Mhm.
not a sense he's not usually going to have a big bargain, So it was just a waste of time for him. Plus, also you got to remember, you you know, Aquaman made $1 billion. You're going to leave a $1 billion movie to go to a franchise that's not even set up and was losing money. But here's one thing I have to say to you, CS. I'm gonna play the devil, be the bad guy for now. If you watched the Golden Globes last week, they were um, they were praising their films, and these are films that bomb. Like what's that movie called? One Bound After Another, with Leonardo DiCaprio. That
Okay,
movie
yeah.
bombed. That movie
Mhm.
bombed. But they said normally, they don't give awards to movies that actually bomb. During the award season. But that movie bombed, and what's her face got best actress award for that movie. Timothy Chalamet's movie is coming up for an Oscar that no one saw. They said this has been the lowest rated October in movie history because they said even if you count 1997 for inflation, this still is the lowest. So it's like they're too prideful, man. They're making movies for them. And with Kathleen Kennedy leaving Star Wars, bro, she
Hmm.
destroyed it. Star Wars is not coming back. She destroyed it. She had left after I don't know, Last Jedi. There probably would be some hope to get it back. But look who Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni's an acolyte. She's even people in there who thinks like her. So it's not like oh Star Wars is safe. And with Netflix, I'm hoping that they do right and restore the Snyder Cut. But if they're going to bring Zazzle in, that means Zazzle is going to keep James Gunn, and we're going to see continuous, endless stupidity of superhero films. So it's just basically Hollywood is imitating real life right now. So like how certain things in politics, they want to go against stuff that's by the law and everything, and Hollywood and people say we're not feeling that because this is what because we unfortunately we vote that guy in, so we vote in who we wanted to, but the other people say no, 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 we're gonna do it our way. That's how Hollywood is. No matter how much you say stuff, it's like they feel like this is our way, so we're gonna do it. And I'm hoping that 2026 has come around and they'll do well with their movies. I'm really hoping for that. But at the same time, I'm seeing this like it's like basically the hard head with Hollywood. It's like
Hmm.
people are saying, "Yo, your movie sucks." Like they still are giving awards for movies that bombed in October, and they're not listening. They say the audience said, "We're not seeing your crap," and they said, "We don't care. We're gonna pat each other on the back and give ourselves an award." That's
Yeah.
how out of touch they are. That's what I'm just gonna say with that.
Yeah. Gotcha. Anything else?
Oh no, that's a good show. And like I said, I hope no, I really do hope that they do restore. I do hope that they do restore the Snyder cut. But like I said, we have to push those people out that's doing this. I hope that because of the ratings for the Golden Globe was bad, and a couple years from now the Oscars going to YouTube. I hope that before this year's out, they say let's listen to the fans. I really, really hope because right now they're not making no money and they
Yeah.
hard for money right now. They need to stop. They really, really totally. So listen to the fans.
Yeah. Gotcha. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you for joining. Let me go to the next one then.
I don't know.
Ty, what's up?
Oh, hey, say yes.
What's
So,
going
what's
on?
up?
Talk to us.
All right. All right. Okay. So, this is before we met until 2023. I can't believe what they saying about James Gunn was taking over the DCU. I was like, no, no, I'm past for that. So, we're gonna continue for restore the Snyderverse and release the air cut. On that day was 2 or 3 years or whatever until we gotta keep fighting for this. And
Hmm.
then also WB, they keep denying it, and then they don't want to admit it, especially his cultists, the James Gunn cultists. They don't want to admit it from themselves. They're, losing brains or whatever. And they don't want to admit it themselves, and they don't want to acknowledge it. And but us as a Snyderverse, we got knowledge for some supporting the Zack Snyder, including his daughter. So we got finally the release the Snyder cut was after I posted, and then we finally get the Snyder cut. So now we need more of the Snyderverse. I want a more of it for Justice League 2 and 3 and Ella cut as well. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And I remember that part where it was after this. So I want a more of it until to figure it out what's going on. If you noticed that last night that what Snyder is doing about the storyboards, the when we discussed that at the storyboards, what Zach was talking about, it says
Hmm.
it takes a lot of time to figure it out when been in 10 years later before or after the BBS. It's a lot of work with this.
Hmm.
So, what do you think about that? For an example, it's like, do you think is Zach is not moving on? Maybe he wants to keep going, but he wants to keep working on it as they know that he knows when he listening to us, what he's talking about is like, Okay, so I know what you said. He's not gonna telling us until he'll say it. So then he would tell me he's gonna posting on the Instagram or Vero whatever, and
Mhm.
then he'll tell us while he was working on the last photograph is working on, and someone on the other one I forgot what was his name. So it makes sense. So wait until Zach he'll come out say something. He knows it, you know.
Yeah. He's letting us know now as it is. I mean, it's kind of obvious, like him putting out pictures literally like every other day so often. That's a clear sign to all of us. That's him saying, "Hey, I haven't moved on. Here's some more to talk about." That's how I take it. If
Yeah,
Zach stops posting, then obviously it means like, hey, there's nothing. But him posting at the rate that he's doing, he's just telling us low key without saying it. He's just telling us, hey, don't give up. Here's another picture or more pictures or whatever it is. So that's how we have to see it.
yeah. That the one in the rare photos that never before seen the images or whatever, you could tell it's there. But do you think that's also it's clearly? I think he knows it that he wanted to continue to his DCEU. That what he's talking about was after since Man of Steel, BVS, and the Snyder Cut. Now, what happens? His Justice League 2 and 3 for the conclusion. Then he'll tell us, say, okay, so what happens next? I have no clue. So we have to wait until further notice was Zach. He'll say something, but he's not going to tell us until he'll say it. That
Hmm.
every time we see something, I was like, oh, okay, maybe it's his DCEU or it's going to be his Watchmen or 300 or whatever you name it.
That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah. Once Zach knows 100%, then he'll let us know the same way, like with the Snyder Cut. Boom, surprise. So that got everybody off, surprised when it got released in 21. So
yeah,
we have to
yeah.
keep going.
Imagine if what if Zach is not moving on. Okay, let's keep it honest open. What he was doing in the photos on the Instagram. That's the
Hmm.
only I found out.
Yeah. We just have to keep going, and time's gonna reveal everything.
Yeah.
All right, then. Thanks for joining us. Let me go to the next person then.
All right. All right. Okay. So I'll let you know when the time comes about the my podcast is on its way. So I'll let you know when.
Okay. Cool.
All right.
Cool.
All right then.
Got it.
See you
All
around.
right, then. Jeffrey, what's up?
Hey, C's, how you doing?
All right, and you? How's everything?
Good. I just finished watching the Rip a few days ago. That
Nice. Nice.
was a really great movie,
Yeah, it's good. Really
and
good.
and but yeah, about Netflix and the Snyderverse thing, like really kind of like basically kind of like going on from your last video that you put out, like that short little video that you put out, like you with with how you mentioned that, oh, he's probably we're getting something on March. Like I told you that for from what I think is we're probably getting something, probably a little teaser on March for the BBS 10th anniversary, and then something big on May, because a lot of people might not kind of realize this, but now that's going to be like the fifth anniversary of Zack Snyder's Justice League coming out on HBO Max officially, not counting the leak that supposedly happened on HBO Max. But yeah, I think we're gonna get something for the fifth anniversary of the Snyder Cut officially releasing, because as you said, and as you said, Zach has been posting a lot. He even it was actually yesterday that he was when he did that first 10 years looking back thing that people were doing. Like it was yesterday, he was actually responding to Instagram comments on that specific post. So something, and he was like, and basically the general consensus of his replies were egging people on, like yeah, let's do this sort of thing. Like you're gonna have to go to is supposed to look at it, but yeah, he was definitely egging people on about wanting the that were very pro Snyderverse.
Yeah.
So yeah, something is definitely cooking in the back burner that people don't know about. And I know that people have kind of said that the Snyderverse is still gonna be it's just still gonna probably take a long time because of all of its other projects. But the thing is, like, you can do multiple projects at the same time because he has that UFC movie that he's doing,
Mhm.
and the last photograph that he's doing. So
Yeah.
it's like you can do multiple projects at the same time because we've seen Zach and other directors do this at the same time. And so really I just think that so really it's just kind of like something with the energy that Zach is kind of giving that whether it be that I think yeah, that I basically do think that whatever is going on with these talks with Netflix and WB, I think that it is that there is a very strong possibility for this for Netflix getting the Snyderverse put out there because you know that Netflix is also paying attention to this chatter going on.
Yeah. They're watching for sure. Somebody's watching and listening.
Yeah. Mhm. So, but yeah, and it really just kind of like one other small thing, like going back to the rip, like he really, especially with that third act, like I legit got flashes of Batfleck in that movie.
Yeah.
So, because I still remember like people still saying that, oh, Ben is out of shape and he's getting too old. And I'm like, and if you watch The Rip, you can definitely tell that Ben Affleck can still go and still be Batman if he wanted.
Oh yeah, for sure. When he was in that car, the cop car chasing the other dude, I won't spoil it, but I was like, "That's Batman in the Batmobile." Literally, it's the same Batman
Yeah,
versus Superman vibes.
yeah,
I was like, "Yo, like he's literally going after that dude like that." I was like, "That's Batman versus Superman." I was like,
yeah.
I was like, "Hell yeah!" So
So, so yeah, really just so yeah, really just feeling positive about this whole thing, and yeah, just feeling very positive and really expecting a few huge things to drop on March for the 10th anniversary of BBS and the 5th anniversary of the Snyder Cut releasing on HBO Max.
and just that alone, we're gonna be talking a lot more DCEU next night.
Yeah,
Yeah, like everybody's still talking about this, and nobody's talking about James Gunn stuff. So
yeah, yeah,
it
because
tells you
because
know,
yeah, someone actually mentioned that no one has really talked about Supergirl for a hot minute, or yeah,
nobody.
Supergirl for a hot minute
Everyone's talking
since
about Spider Man and
since like
Avengers.
that first initial trailer drop.
Yep, that I'm telling you, things are gonna change again for us. They always do. Always remember, like I say, in the end, justice always wins, and it'll happen. I can't wait. We're gonna be watching more stuff of Zach very soon.
Yep. Well, I'm gonna go because I there's probably a few other people waiting to get on.
Yeah, I
But
got
yeah, nice. But yeah, nice talking to you.
same Jeff. So we'll catch up soon. So if anything, we'll do another live stream very soon and stuff. So hit up Ty also about T Flame on that also too.
Okay,
All right,
peace.
then, bro. We'll talk. All right. All right, Jacob, what's up? Talk to us.
What's up, man? This is my
What's up?
first
What's
time
up?
doing anything like this. I just
Appreciate
got a
that.
few questions. What did you like and dislike about James Gunn's Superman?
Look, nothing against James Gunn. Is just his style. What he does for DC, I'm not with it. What he does with Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy, he's perfect at that. He's really good. He belongs at Marvel. And him coming over to DC, he's literally brought that whole formula, that whole style, that whole copy and paste of Marvel with, Guardians of the Galaxy. And all he did was just, we're gonna replace Star Lord with Superman, we're gonna replace this one with that one. It's just the same thing, but with DC characters. That's why to me I'm like, I'm just not feeling it, honestly. And Peacemaker
Yeah,
and Creature Commandos just, it's just not for me.
yeah. I thought the Superman movie was kind of rushed. Like rather than doing a trilogy, he skipped over the origin story, and we already had Green Lantern, Mister Terrific
Yeah,
in the movie. It wasn't really a Superman movie, and also I didn't really like the villains. We had Lex Luthor, but he wasn't really Lex Luthor, he was just controlling a bad version of Superman.
yeah. I
Uh,
think it was too much going on, just a little
yeah.
too much. Mr. Terrific, he was good. Like he actually did a good. He played his role really good.
Yeah,
Uh,
I did like the introduction of the characters and stuff, but it was just too much going on, and I would have much rather had like a just a raw Superman movie like the Man of Steel movie.
yeah, yeah. I think a lot of people can agree with that too.
Another question I had was what would you want for like a Ben Affleck Batman movie?
Oh, like what would I want? Honestly, like
Yeah,
tie-in, for example, like fill in the gaps. How? Very simple. Go back to what happens before Batman versus Superman. Explain how does Robin go out. I want to see Jared Leto beating the crap out of Robin. Which Robin. Like explain all of that, and then also building after the events of what happens in the timeline where Batman and Justice League, if you want to say during those time, the little time gaps. And then I guess by the end of the movie, I mean, of course, you have to have Deathstroke explaining, because remember in the Snyder cut, we see Lex Luthor talking with Deathstroke, and he's telling him, hey, you want Bruce Wayne. So kind of touch that up, go back and explain that, and
yeah,
introduce
I
why
would
Deathstroke.
love that too. I think we've been robbed of a few Batmans or a few Robins. We've
Yeah.
only had Batman and Robin way back in the '90s, and yeah, I would love to see how Robin goes out, and Deathstroke finally getting a movie would be freaking awesome too.
Yeah, and
But
then leading up to the nightmare, how does Batman and Deathstroke make peace to work together? I want to know that. Like, okay, they squashed their personal problems, and why are they working together? Like you get what I'm saying? Like, build those little details up to
yeah,
what's already established.
wasn't Joker alive too, working with them?
Yeah, yeah, that's where it
Yeah,
sets up. It sets up all of that. So
yeah,
the same thing with Harley. Like, how did Harley die when Batman was carrying her? What took her out? Like, these are details that to me, I'm like, I need to know that. Like, it just shows you a different point of view of what's going on in the story.
yeah. I thought they were kind of setting up an Injustice movie where like maybe they were teaming up against Superman or something like that, but we never got to see what they were really cooking up there.
They were setting that up because at the end of the Snyder Cut with Lex, that's what he was like. Oh, shouldn't we have a team of our own? So immediately, right there, the Injustice League, or I think that's what they're called. I'm not sure. So it was gonna be all the villains. That's why we saw these villains from different movies. But they WB just never did nothing with it.
Yeah. I hope well, now that James Gunn does have it, I hope we do get a new I don't really want a new Batman, but if they do a new Batman, I hope that they do like not a grounded Batman, like we actually get a sci-fi Batman with Robin and with villains that are like, coming out of the screen. They aren't just like toned down to be realistic.
Yeah.
But
I,
yeah,
I think I think with James Gunn that can happen just because I'm honestly interested. Like a lot of people have been talking about, especially James Gunn. Every time, like I notice in every interview, and I wish he would be listening to this. I am very interested to see what James Gunn can pull, and this I know he can pull because this is up his alley. What he would do with Batmite, I'm very interested in seeing that. Not because I just want to see what he can do because he's very passionate about that. He always brings up Batmite, and I'm like, that's like a character from Guardians of the Galaxy, like a Rocket Raccoon probably. So
Yeah,
if he could pull that off with a talking raccoon, I'm like I'm sure he could pull off something with Batmite. I would love to see that honestly, just because that fits in his tone and what he's good at with those type of like odd characters, if you want to
yeah,
say.
he's really good with like crazy, very odd characters. I agree.
Yeah, in the Suicide Squad, I was surprised when he brought in that big star. Star, what is it? The Bizarro? I mean, not Bizarro. I can't remember the name of the starfish, whatever that
Uh,
the big old
yeah, I know
kaiju.
what you're talking about though. Yeah, the
Yeah, I
big.
was like, and he did it again in Superman. I was like, okay, so he likes these type of weird characters, and he could pull it off. So that's why I'm like, if he keeps on talking about Batmite, I want to see what he can do with that character. Like, how would he bring that into this like live action, if you want to say?
Yeah. I think it's crazy that we've already gotten like pretty much every Batman villain live action. We've gotten Poison Ivy, Mr. Freeze, Scarecrow, Joker, some of them multiple times already. But with Superman, we've only gotten Lex Luthor. We haven't gotten like Brainiac or like any of his like crazy supervillains yet.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
was kind of disappointed with James Gunn's version just because the villains weren't really that interesting, and seeing just a evil version of Superman, that's always kind of boring. Seeing
yeah,
an evil version of the superhero. But
yeah.
yeah, nice talking to you, man. Nice meeting you.
You too. Thanks. Appreciate that.
Yeah, have a good one. I'll be on your stream.
All right, cool. All right, let's see. Recon, what's up? Talk to us.
Hey CS, how you doing?
All right, and you?
Good.
So what's happening? Talk to us.
Yeah. I before I talk about DC or stuff, since the plot was bad, I am no longer interested of seeing 28 Years Later the Bone Temple in theaters.
Okay. All right. I'm not watching it, so
I'm not going in there. I'm no longer interested of that crap.
I'm telling you, they're just selling a lie. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna fall
it
for it.
does. Anyways, yeah. And I'm gonna watch The Rip soon. The
Hopefully
Rip.
you enjoy it. I just saw it this
Yeah.
morning, and I'm gonna rewatch it again. It was really good. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it later on tonight. And so and so and thing is, like James Gunn did to Supergirl was not okay.
Yeah.
The her, her appearance like drunk, that's crossing the line, Gunn. Not
Yeah.
cool. And so sorry I'm eating.
It's all
And
good.
by the way, if I was in charge of DC, good golly, I would let the Zack Snyder's vision to be finished first, and
Right.
then at least with Edgar Wright directing Green Lantern Corps, Man of Steel 2, directed by Christopher McQuarrie, Flashpoint, directed by Joseph Kosinski, and I would turn Batgirl into a theatrical release,
Yeah.
and then it will end with Zack Snyder's Justice League Part 2, Part 3, or Part 4 before I announce James Gunn's DCU.
Yeah. Before a whole full reboot.
Yeah,
Which
that's
that's
what I
what
have.
he should have done. He should have literally done that in the beginning. That's why I was like, okay, like, is he gonna do this right? No, every single time he just keeps dropping the ball. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he does that. He does that too sometimes. I saw his Twitter thing from years ago. Uh, was not okay.
Yeah, yeah, that was pretty wild, but yeah, I mean, that's his problem. Now we're not focused on that right now. What do you think of what we're talking with Netflix and the Snyderverse and everything?
Like the Netflix and Snyderverse. Hopefully some of the people are getting recast.
Like,
Flash, Mara, sadly.
okay, I can understand why, but I I have to disagree with that just because the sake of continuity. So,
Hmm.
but it's understandable. I can see why some people would want that. So,
Hmm. And as ZSZL would end with part two, part three, or part four.
yeah, that we know of is up to three. So I don't know if we'll even get a fourth one. I mean, and what Zach wants is just it was supposed to be three. So I don't know
Hmm.
from that what would go.
Hmm. And and oh, someone's saying about Lobo and Supergirl.
Yeah, that they have hope for Supergirl and Lobo or versus Lobo. I mean, if that's what you like, that's what you like. I don't have no for none, so I'm just not
Yeah.
interested in the DCU.
Uh,
They,
what happened?
no, that I'm not interested in the DCU. I'm interested in Zach's DCEU.
Oh, that's understandable. Yeah, I lost my confidence with Marvel earlier this summer, last summer,
Yeah,
and then if James Gunn screwed this up for me, and I'm gonna go back to the DCEU if Man of Tomorrow fails.
that's even if we make it that far. So we'll see how far this goes because things are not looking too hopeful for the DCEU. You know, I mean for
Mhm.
the DCU with James Gunn. We have to see. We have
Ah,
to see. We have to see.
all right, all right, you mate. I gotta start eating, and then I'll probably read.
Okay, cool. Thanks for
All right,
joining us.
you too. See you
Oh,
later.
all right. All right then. So yeah, that pretty much brings us to what the main thing that we're talking about. In the end, will Netflix restore the Snyderverse? We're all hopeful. We all want the best, but we also have to see the actions of the studios. And I say studios because this implies if they sell, to who they sell, or if they don't sell. Because we have to see the big picture. We have to see from if the sale does happen, if it doesn't happen, then what? You know? Because if it doesn't sell, is Warner Brothers going to have to say, "Hey, look, let's go back to what was really working," or what do we do? Dementio, what's up? Talk to us.
Hey, what's up? How's it
All
going?
right, and you? Good, good. You?
Good, good. I wanted to mention this probably last time, but I forgot to. But I still believe the Snyderverse needs to be restored and restored that epic story that Zack Snyder was building.
Cool. Tell us. Like, what do
Hello.
you want to see happen? Yeah, we hear you. You hear us? I think we hear you.
Oh, you hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, good. I was saying the mission is still alive in my mind.
We're kind of losing you. The signal's kind of going in and out.
Oh, sorry. What were you saying?
No, we kind of lost you because the signal was going in and out.
I know. I was trying to see what's going on. Am I good now?
Yeah, you're good now. We hear you.
Yeah. I have one main question. What director's cuts that are better than the theatrical cuts in your opinion?
The true cut of whatever the director wanted to put out. So if we get a
Uh,
second version of what it was originally supposed to be, then of course that's the main version that the director wanted to put. But I understand why studios release certain productions because they want to try to get more people to watch it. But then when the true vision is released and it gets more of attention, then that just tells you, well, you should have just let them release the original vision, you know. And I guess it just saves a headache for everybody, you know, the studio and the fans.
If we can go back in time, like, do you remember the Ben Affleck Daredevil film?
Yeah.
I really think that's one of the most underrated Marvel movies. And I know some people will not agree, but I've always liked that Marvel movie as a growing up. And then I heard years and decades later it got a director's cut that said it was better than the theatrical cut. But personally, I like that film no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's gonna like what they're gonna like. So, I mean, is it kind of the same movie? I guess probably with more content. You know, like it's like comparing what we have with Batman versus Superman, what the studio put out to the ultimate cut. I like both, but I prefer more, you know, the ultimate cut. You know, does it make one worse than the other? No, it just shows you more of what was there that should have been there. You know, now if you compare Joss Whedon's Justice League versus the Snyder Cut, two different movies. You can't even like say that it's the same. It's not. It's two different films. You know,
I
so
I agree. And there are fans that are going saying, "Oh, they're both the same movie." No, they
mhm,
are not. They
they're not.
may borrow they may borrow stories, similar stories, but they are not the same movie, not by tone anyway.
Yeah, yeah, two different movies, two different directors, whole different
Yes,
film.
wholly different movie.
Hmm.
I will argue to the end of time that Joss Whedon's Justice League and Zack Snyder's Justice League are not the same movie. Period.
Yeah. Hmm. But what can we do? That's not the director's fault. I don't hold none of them accountable for it because they just doing what they have to do. You
They
have to
just
hold the
doing their job.
studio. Yeah, the studio is the one that makes the final decision. Says, hey, we want to release this. We want to put this. We want to cut that. Well, you should have never done it in the first place. You know, so it's a shame, but these things happen. You know, like this is what the studio wants. I mean, we just have to, you know, kind of say, hey, you're the one to blame for this. You know, like DC's in this mess because they've allowed it. You know, like I can't even blame hell. I can't even blame James Gunn for all this mess because James Gunn's probably trying to put things together that even he knows that it's impossible. You know, by trying to retcon things. That's why he's trying to retcon things because he's like, well, we're gonna slowly get away from this, but it just doesn't make sense because you're literally using this character, this, you know, I guess from the previous universe, and they get to stay, but this one doesn't. So it's confusing. You know, it's like, okay, yeah, it's a mess. You know, so
Mhm.
what can we do? It's the studio's fault for allowing all these things to be happening.
And do you ever wonder why the studio hired James Gunn in the first place?
They
It's
thought they were
because
gonna make
they
no, they
want
thought they
the
were gonna
Marvel
make money.
success.
Yeah, they thought they were
That's
gonna make the
true.
money with Joss Whedon and with James
Yeah.
Gunn, and they were like, "We're gonna do the same." Nope, nope, it doesn't. It just look at what they're doing. They haven't learned from their mistake. They're bringing in now Scarlett Johansson, and they're bringing in what's his name, Sebastian, Stan Sebastian.
Sebastian Stan from
Yeah,
the Winter Soldier.
yeah, those two, and then there's new rumors that Chris Evans is also going to be part of the Batman too. So what is that
What?
telling you? Yeah, that's the new
I
rumor that I
never.
just read on. Yeah, I just read that on Friday. I forgot that I was reading it. So yeah, that's the newest rumor now that Chris Evans is probably going to be some new character with Robert Pattinson's universe and stuff like that. So we don't know, like I said, but at this point, it's just literally become a Marvel takeover. You know, like that's how I see it. You know, it's once again the same thing repeating.
But what did they bring Scarlett Johansson to do?
Supposedly she's gonna be playing. We don't know, but from what they're saying, that she's supposed to be playing a Two Face female version. I
What?
don't know.
I don't.
Yeah, I don't know. It's all speculation, but at this point, I don't even know honestly. She's probably gonna be some type of attorney or something to Harvey Dent. Probably the wife. We don't know. We don't know. Again, everything is up in the air. I mean, the Batman 2 starting to sound like a mess also. So that's courtesy all of James Gunn, guaranteed. Guaranteed. I mean, Anybody that says it's not James Gunn's fault, it is, because he's the CEO of DC Studios. If you're the one in charge, you're overseeing, you're approving, you're allowing, and you're letting all of this happen. It literally happened while under your leadership. That tells you that you're part of the problem also. What do you
And
think?
one thing I want to get out of the way is I gave Peacemaker season 2 one watch episode. Nah, I didn't like it at all. I didn't even like the first season at all either. I
Yeah.
just don't. And every time I think about that, I'm thinking, okay, why do fans believe that they know what's best for DC with all that over the top violent stuff, and that's so lighthearted, that's darker, that's that's we were originally getting that was darker and it was epic and it was more interesting. And now we
Hmm.
have over the top blood, sex, and blood acting like that's best for DC. Y'all think that's best for DC? No.
Yeah, it's gotten out of control. Like literally, it has gotten out of control. And I'm like, what the hell has happened to DC? Like this is where they are right now. It's clear. It's literally clear, like day and night, that at this point WB has to do just like Marvel and Paramount, and they have to go back to what was working, and that was the Snyderverse. That's it. James Gunn has had so many opportunities to prove himself and to redeem himself and to win the fans, literally win everybody. But no, every time it's just worse and worse, and it's like, oh no, like what is he gonna do next? He's literally destroying everything at DC. But that's what WB wanted.
And this makes me happy that they're bringing back the Russo brothers to do Avengers because they have been the best directors I can think of that have worked with Marvel that will take things epic, serious, and fun at the same time. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what they do with Doomsday.
Yep.
So if it's possible to bring back the Russo brothers, then I believe it. I believe they can bring back Zack Snyder to do his work and complete the
Yeah.
story.
Yeah. It would be amazing. It would be.
I mean, those who say no, and for those who say no, they just don't have no faith.
Yep. Yeah, that's. I agree with you. I agree with you. Yeah, exactly. Look at that comment. Guns tone work with Guardians of the Galaxy, but not with DC. A
I
hundred
mean, that's
percent. I
the
agree. I agree
that's
with
the
that.
main excuse why he's hired for the job because everyone believes that his success and work on the Guardians trilogy is why they want him now.
Hmm. That's what WB thought. They were like, "Oh, we're gonna bring in James Gunn. He made Guardians of the Galaxy 1, 2, and 3. We're gonna make a big success." And look, look
And
at how
remember
it's
in the
backfired.
now remember in the teaser trailers for Superman, they did not promote the Suicide Squad at all. Why?
Hmm.
Because they know that movie bombed.
Exactly, but they won't admit it. WB won't admit that. I was like, okay. They literally had to put Guardians of the Galaxy. I was like, come on, you literally have to put that in a DC property. I was like, come on. And then they went back and they fixed it. So it's like that's why I tell you, they're watching, they're aware, they're listening, they know what's up.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
All right. That's all I want to say is, but thank you for letting me have you on here again.
All right, cool. Thanks for joining.
Talk, talk later. Peace.
All right, peace out. So yeah, that's pretty much where we're standing at right now with WB and everything with this mess. I mean, it it's not hard to literally, let's be real. If James Gunn, DC, WB, whatever you want to call it, right? The powers that be, if they're allowing, and I've said this multiple times and I'll keep on repeating myself, if they're allowing, you know, James Gunn to do what he wants. They're allowing what's his name, Matt Reeves, to do what he want. And why can't we let Zack Snyder be part of his own thing within DC? The studio could be making money 3 times, but it just doesn't make sense. It's like they want the money, but then when the opportunity comes up and their moment to capitalize on it, it's like they're afraid of it and they back out. And I'm like, I just don't get it. Like you literally have these actors that are still around, they're willing to come back and they're ready to give it all. but you keep on turning it down. Meanwhile, you want to keep moving forward with James Gunn, and he's not making you money. He's costing you double, triple the amount, because these productions are not cheap. It's not like saying, oh, 50 million. No, they're spending like minimum 200 and up $1 million. And if they don't make that back, that's bad, you know? So we have to see what's going to happen overall. I think this year we're going to see a lot of changes, a lot of updates, a lot of constant shifts. There's going to be so many shifts, especially with this whole sale. I'm telling y'all right now, this sale is not going to end anytime soon. This is going to drag for, I think, until Man of Tomorrow. I think that's what's going to happen. And don't be surprised if next year they extend James Gunn's contract just because this whole sale still has to go through. It still is not it's not getting approved. We're gonna probably hear more counter offers from Paramount. They're gonna keep on getting declined. They're trying to sue WB, Netflix. It's just become literally a headache right now. At this point, it's like, why are we still going over this? Like, what's so easy? Sell it or don't sell it. Uh, people just want movies. That's it. And we already know James Gunn's just not the person for the job. And like I've been telling y'all, in the end, James Gunn is gonna go back to Marvel. He's going to go back for Guardians of the Galaxy. Guaranteed. I guarantee it. Secret Wars, we're going to see James Gunn attached somewhere in there. Still. And because Guardians of the Galaxy, that's his baby. Let's be honest. James Gunn, that's what he loves and that's what he's good at when it comes over there to Marvel. Now here at DC, like I said, nothing against James Gunn. I don't have nothing against him. I don't know him. Will I ever get to meet him? I don't know. Who knows? That the world's small. But when it comes to the leadership of James Gunn, he's just not it. I think we've given him too much opportunities, and at this point, it's just not. It's just not working. And I think everybody's already seeing, and we've already come to the terms that James Gunn has not been the right person to get the job done, unfortunately. But it is what it is at this point. Yeah, that whole thing with Netflix announcing the 45-day theatrical release, that to me is they're lying. Why do I say that? Because they could have done it with the Rip, this movie. They could have done it with that. And this movie didn't just happen overnight. This has been in works for probably over a year, way before the sale. So all of a sudden Netflix, because they hear channels like mine and other channels, oh, it's bad that you leave 15 days a window and stuff like that for the theatrical release. So they're like, you know what? I'm sure that the people on the board at Netflix are like, all right, let's shut everybody up. Let's just lie to them and tell them we're going to give them 45 days theatrical release so we can win it and we can own those IPs. That's how I see it. That's how corporations are. They love to lie and they're going to make up anything like politicians just to make it seem and win the votes from people. Unfortunately, people buy into that. I don't. To me, it's like actions speak loud. I'm like, Netflix, if you know you were gonna do something with Ben Affleck, you should have been put this out theatrically. Like, why are you waiting until you buy WB? Oh, then you're gonna do it? Nah, let's be real. You would have been. How come you didn't put Rebel Moon in the theaters? How come you only put Rebel Moon for exclusive, limited, cities for people to see these movies? I saw Rebel Moon too. I got the privilege to see it, and that was through a special private invite. So I don't even remember how the hell I got the invite, but I got the invite last minute. In my area they were playing it, and I went to go see it. What an awesome experience it was. And yeah, I agree with you. That's what Netflix is trying to do. They're trying to convince the shareholders. That's all it is at this point. They don't care about like the audience. They really don't. It's like eh, that's the part where I'm like, you know what? Actions speak loud, because Netflix could be like, hey, we could win all together, because everybody's gonna make their cut, and we'll put it in the theaters, and everybody gets their cut. But no, Netflix just wants to be like David Zaslav, greedy. It's all about me, 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 and me. I want to keep the most money. I want to gain the subscribers. I want to have all the content. We're not gonna put out physical media. We're gonna have it on streaming. That's the problem. And some people are okay with it. I'm just not one of them. And unfortunately, I want to be able to go to the movies and experience these movies. I want to see the Avengers in theaters. I want to see it with people screaming, shouting. Oh, when you see these characters, oh crap, like oh damn, like Spider-Man No Way Home. Like when you saw Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, it's like oh, and then when they're all together, it's like what, it's that experience, I guess. And the same with DC. When DC was out, boom, everybody losing their minds, screaming, shouting, and enjoying these movies. But now, it's like, what the hell has happened? And it's just it's weird, I guess, in the sense of them trying to actually control, if you want to say, the content, and I don't know, it's gotten a little bit worse because of course, the gaming industry is doing the same thing. They've been milking it with DLC. Aren't you tired of buying a game and it's like you have to pay extra for the DLC and then extra and wait? It's like, dude, just give me the whole damn thing and just charge me up front, right? That's the same thing with these movies. It's like we want to see these movies, and then it's like, oh, I want to add it to my collection. Sorry, you can't because it's only on streaming. It's like, damn, okay, that kind of sucks, It's like I would love to have Rebel Moon in my collection. I want a steel book of it. I want the physical of it, like, but we can't because it's just tied and exclusive to Netflix. So you have to have that subscription, and that's the problem where I see that when it comes to the entertainment side, some people are okay with it, to each their own, but I don't mind. I like both. I like digital and I like physical, so if I have it digital, that's cool, but if I have it physical, even better. So a lot of fans feel that way too, but we're gonna see what's gonna happen. The next few months should be interesting, especially leading now until May, because let's not forget we got the what is it, the 10-year anniversary of Batman versus Superman. I think that's in March 25th, and then in May we also have the 5th year of Zack Snyder's Justice League. So we're eating good this year. We just started off because we got the McFarlane Batmobile toy. That was a crowdfunding campaign. We just got that. You saw that I did a review. So yeah, there's a lot more of the DCEU and Snyderverse stuff coming, So, and Zach isn't stopping. He's gonna keep on putting these pictures, and we're all here for it. Everybody's talking about it. You have people that support Zach, people that are against Zach. Everybody's talking about it. That's the whole point. Meanwhile, nobody's talking about James Gunn and whatever he's doing. It's like nobody's really entertained with that. that tells you that tells you everything. So I think at the end fans have had enough, and we're gonna see what's gonna happen with that. Very exciting times that we're living in, in the sense seeing how this entertainment industry has gone, what it's become, what it's evolving, if you want to say, because the entertainment world is just evolving on its own, especially with AI and everything with technology. It's wild, like it's moving way too fast, and at the same time it's scary, but it's amazing, you know. But when you have streaming giants like Netflix, Disney, Paramount, Peacock, I mean, the possibilities are endless. Look at Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime is cooking. They're just starting to put out good content, and it's like, wow, like, if they keep it up, they're gonna be another competition that's gonna be against Netflix, because they're getting these nice IPs. They did that with Fallout. They're preparing Tomb Raider, God of War. So, and these are video games, like, so that's the next big thing. That whole cinematic universe, it's going to be with the gaming. The gaming cinematic universe, it's already started. We saw that with Sonic. They're already going to Sonic 4, Super Mario Brothers Galaxy. Like, these movies are making money at the box office. Now, the superhero genre, people are not tired of it. People just want good superhero movies, And now that Marvel's cleaning house, hopefully DC does the same thing too, and Paramount with the Transformers IP. So it's exciting. It's exciting to see how things are, I guess, getting fixed, if you want to say, in the industry. And I'm here for it. I am here for it. Many of us, and that's the important part. We just want good content, because who doesn't, after a long day, after a long week, after whatever you're going through, or whatever, we're all going through something. When you want to watch a movie or play a game or read a comic, what's the last thing you want? Anybody to be lecturing you, right? You just want to enjoy yourself, unwind, and watch what it is that you enjoy yourself with, right? That's what we want with these movies. We just want good content. And when Hollywood doesn't give us that, we stop supporting it. And I think they've already learned, and they finally have learned the lesson of, hey, people are not eating this no more. And I think DC has finally realized, hey, look, yeah, with James Gunn, nobody's eating this, you know. For them to remove what it was, Creature Commandos from YouTube for free, and nobody tuned in, and they pulled it down like less than 24 hours, that tells you everything. That tells you everything. And, you know, we're in a state where like people just want good entertainment overall. But again, everything comes down to the main question. In the end, if this sale does happen, if it doesn't happen, you know, the mission continues. Restore the Snyderverse. We will stop at nothing, and we have to keep on expressing ourselves with our wallets closed to send the message because we're seeing it. The studio sees it, the shareholders, the investors, everybody is aware of it. And don't think that Zack Snyder's not aware. Don't think James Gunn is not aware. Don't think David Zaslav, Peter Safran, the executives on the boards of Netflix, Paramount, you know, Disney, Comcast, all of these studios, they know. They're hearing us, they're seeing us. They know what people want and what they don't want, especially with social media. Everybody literally just wants to, exactly, people want escapism. They want to escape from reality, you know, and they want to enjoy good movies. That's all it is, you know. And in the end, we just want good entertainment. It's not hard. It's not hard. All you have to do, I mean, the Rip is literally a perfect example. If Netflix does get the you know, the DC IP properties, whatever you want to call it, and they restore the Snyderverse, Ben Affleck in literally in the Rip is literally Batfleck once again in action. And I was like, I can see it happening. Netflix has the money, but the thing is, do they have the interest? Do they have the interest? We know Zach wants to, you know, but we want to see what the actions of Netflix are going to be. Are they going to restore it? Are they going to keep moving forward with James Gunn? We do not know. Everything is just speculation at this point. But, you know, in the end, all that matters is that we keep on expressing our opinions, that we keep on, you know, putting hashtagging. Hashtags are very important. They are very important. If they weren't important, why are, you know, the fans of James Gunn using Supergirl hashtag, Superman hashtag, and all this, right? Because it's important. That's why, you know. So the same applies to when it comes to DC. I always tag them every time I'm on Twitter, you know. So somebody's watching. You know, don't think that they're not listening and they're not watching. They're well aware, and they know what the business is. Just the thing is, are they going to make the right calls this time? That is the part we have to wait, and we have to see what's going to come, you know, in the end from this, because again, we just want good entertainment. It's not hard. It's very easy. All it is just getting the right people on board to make it happen, you know. And I do want to say this before I go. This whole thing with James Gunn saying that he's going to recast and they're looking for a new Dark Side and Mr. whatever that show is that they're trying to do, the cartoon. Notice how James Gunn's universes always start with a cartoon. Creature Commando kicked off with a cartoon. The start of the DCU was with a cartoon, Creature Commandos. And now whatever this Mr. Miracle, I guess, or whatever. Um, it's just showing you he's James Gunn is nervous. He is nervous. Not long ago in December, he was like, "Oh, what Zach did was wonderful, and we're not gonna touch, you know, Dark Side because we don't have no plans for him." Now he's recasting. Supposedly, they already found somebody, and it's just telling you, like, he's just nervous. But let him do what he's got to do. I'm telling you right now, the same thing is gonna come out. Everything is a mess, you know, and that's what James Gunn is all about. He's literally causing, you know, chaos within the company, you know, and that's what he's doing. He is doing that. Yeah, he's changing everything. He is changing everything. You know, it's just showing you he's nervous. He has no plan or guidance. He has no leadership of his own. He doesn't know how to steer the ship. Literally, He is the captain of this boat, and he has no clue where it's going. He has wandered so off that he doesn't even know which way is what, and this that this is going to be interesting on where it's going to literally set the anchor, to stop and see where it all leads to. Because at this point, I don't know. I don't know what else they can do. Honestly, not with James Gunn. They just have to restore the Snyderverse. They have to go back to what was working, and like they literally have to just go back and fix all this mess. And I know once Zach is back, with the Flash, he could do the same thing like he did with the Snyder cut. He erased the timeline from Joss Whedon, and he restored the timeline to the one that was the accurate one, the correct one that we were seeing in the Snyder cut, and setting up and opening the door for the Nightmare timeline, where things ended. But they still have to continue from that point on. But we'll see. We'll see what's gonna happen. It's interesting when you have Gal Gadot, Aquaman. I mean, what's his name? Jason Momoa. You have Zach. Everybody's sharing these pictures. Everybody's just sharing more of the DCEU. That's amazing. It's amazing. Oh, and I do want to say this. It's interesting that Zach posted that picture with Ezra Miller dressed up as the Flash, and you see a picture of Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn. Very interesting. Very interesting to see that, because Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn is from David Ayer. And what is that from? Suicide Squad. And what are we also fighting for? The Ayer cut. So I take it as restore the Snyderverse and release the Ayer cut. A 2-in-1. 2-in-1. Amazing. Like I said, Zack Snyder speaks to us in code, and only those that know what's up. If you know, you know, straight up. And what a time! What a time it is to be a DC fan with what Zack Snyder, is posting, what he gave us, what he's the message is clear. He's letting us know what's up, and he probably Zach is like us. He's caught up in the middle, because I mean, how many changes don't we hear? How many things don't we hear constantly are just shifting left and right, Um, and I think yeah, Screen Rant, they're shills. That's who they are. But it's interesting that means that they're worried, they're panicking. Whenever you have all these shills crying and complaining and mumbling, they're literally coping, because they're like, well, we can't stop them. We're gonna try to give it bad publicity. Well, guess what? You're just helping us, because you try to give us bad publicity with the Snyder cut. And what do we have now? The Snyder cut. So if we have that, we won then. We won with a toy of a Batmobile. Literally with McFarlane Toys, we are the majority. It's already proven. It's happening. There's no stopping it. It's like the guy in Jurassic World. I can't remember his name. I think it was Hodgkins. I don't remember his name. When he told Owen with the Raptors, and he was like, when he put the devices, if you seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. He's like, we're gonna do this with or without you. That's that guy cracks me up. But the same thing is, we're going to get the Snyderverse with or without you. Period. And they know it. That's why, like I told y'all, 2026 is our year. We're starting off great. We're not compromising. We will stop at nothing, and we're going to get what we want in due time. The wheels have been in motion for a while. This year, we get 2 wins. We're getting the 10-year anniversary for Batman versus Superman in March. That's one thing to celebrate. We're going to be all over social media. And then guess what? After that, we're going to get the 10-year anniversary for Zack Snyder's Justice League. That's right. Remember the one that all these shows said it would never happen? Oh, move on, because it's never going to happen. And what do we have now? The beautiful Snyder cut. Zack Snyder's Justice League. That tells you 2026 is our year, baby. We will stop at nothing. Wallets closed, keep them closed and locked. It's time to show this studio, you know what? We've had enough. Enough is enough. And if the sales happens, good. If it doesn't happen, we continue to fight. Regardless, in the end, it's all about release the Ayer cut and restore the Snyderverse, my friends. I want to thank y'all for tuning in. I want to thank everybody that joined the chat, all that good stuff. Today was awesome. It was fun. It was amazing. And it's thanks to each and every one of you. Like I told y'all, I had took a break for like about a few days, a week, probably a week and a half from DC. And once I saw Zack Snyder post these pictures, thank y'all for motivating me to keep on going. Your comments, your messages, everything is very appreciated. Like I tell you, that means more to me than anything else when it comes to all this whole social media stuff. You're the reason why I do these videos. I'm just here reporting, saying, messaging, whatever you want to call it. I'm just here just saying and voicing the opinions and letting you speak so these studios, these executives, these shareholders, everybody that's out there can listen and know what the fan, consumer, and customer all over the world want. With that being said, thank y'all. Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are around the world. And I'm going to catch you on the next time. Peace out, my friends.